Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Nkrumah. And she says, when you saw news, no?
Yeah. I think that was a detention almost by 3 days in the on that day. I say we granting me I want to say. And when nature is pursuing you, you cannot hide.
You cannot hide.
And a basaya. I'm not sure say you will be energy, but anim guase air time. Say obia will rise to such a higher political prominence. The pinnacle. They were sitting at the top, very powerful, untouchable. Who no parliament, so they put the bag. Our cover, and today quickly no one morph into a fugitive. Our no one the motherland, no mama free her, no papa free her say. Why your finance minister Nkrumah, the Krum, want to remember her identity because of her brother Bonnie or boy. And now while I'll stay in the visa in America, Donald Trump by there is a crackdown on individuals. Only visa. Or visa wouldn't am here then. According and the lawyers issue statement trying to do the because America is shiao not say who stay illegally. According to Donald Trump new you'll be kept at a detention center until Niamabeko then if possible they will deport you. But you see and convey good message. Because Obia Africa Ghana former minister, finance minister has been detained. And the we are say, Ugu were the in this particular way.
Too bad.
And detention center na continue acquire and cast away a former minister. And some of the detention center na Donald Trump and some are inhumane. Acquire say we are for your do shema. When you obi or prison be a pet. What are some Americans? So I think that is very embarrassing. Or Baha be no and can we be a name. And it is very shameful when people sit on TV and seek to justify why Ofori shouldn't come, say, Oba, and this or Oba. This is Obi, a finance minister of this country. I manage the economy of this country. Every single financial transaction, financial engineering be a course within the last 8 years. He was there, your friend is the master, and not he was signing document, borrowing, and as a form. Obi and Kasa, why born? You've been accused. And the whole thing is come.
But you are no keke.
And that is it.
But you are no.
John Mahama's government and abaya your fence tyrannical because oba you bet found it waka kwashe prison ye ni wasem. As a president Kufu Addo kran na Nkrumah. Obi anche no. Ba omiano nam ha. So what is it that people are concluding so oba onya fair hearing ben Ghana is not a banana republic. Kenoforiata ba obi enu oba bandon na kwashe prison. Branabe you are no accept say na net here. You have your fans access to counsel. Accept no court. Now you dinner with the bema. At the day you go your way. You understand? But to say mano, if that give you credence to the fact.
It means a bibi
exactly you are guilty.
Ko Bible say akoma emuti en nsrafo die.
Yes.
Anti brana wo se wo ma na Trump also say crampo on this illegal and brother say wo share here Minneapolis Minnesota. They shoot a 37-year-old woman bi kra ma ni
clash e koso. I don't know. He's not backing down on some of this immigration illegal status and to be caught in the center of this whole thing. It's really embarrassing. Maybe people don't see. And who quickly his lawyers came up with a statement, so they are working whatever just to ensure say that is the fact, and it's really embarrassing. Sending very terrible signals around, and they're not affirming that near my wife Nkrumah say yes, brother, you are fighting the system, and the system now ultimately fighting you don't have legal status. While spy, your friend is saying. Ovesa, what and what is the essence? So for me, I think that yes, Bonnie Bekuma Bonnie for, and I know who's when this whole thing, your friend saying how embarrassing this whole thing sounds. For me, Omo to the Fosa Manemano, or Rankasa Namena no O2, Komakase, Kenoforata as long as he stay outside this country, no. And you're no Ankasa Namena no O2, because in the future, if you don't come, people are going to make references to the fact that papa be born in Ubjana be mine so and Oku will be mine so and whole lot of where if you know you are not guilty, I'm not sure there is anything that prevents him from coming. So I think that he's ignored and they all deserve one and I'm not sure say anybody can argue otherwise because Obaya Ebeyina no Ebia Kranka Sanyama Winina you could have come here to renew his visa and then go back, you understand? So this whole thing they up to the 7 year canon. amamu no ye de sha wonsa men yes na me wo fasie ni na me nana ni na hwan you look for quality competent individuals who were tested tried and tested your fancy track record can for Atta from day one he demonstrated nothing but sincere incompetence and some kind of way be say yaba yen use the financial system no na yen get some people out look at what he did to Papa Kwesi Indium look at how I collapse among for financial businesses in for Nkrumah say all because of this particular gentleman now we yes I near we na brabe you and also remember you are no now also nipa ne say what I say it's not as say oh yeah near market near man na oh yeah no there were damning long lasting financial consequences and impact on some individuals look at Papa Kwesi Indium a businessman or transforming you into a kaura Papa Kwesi Indium I'm not sure so wait me walking on the street of Accra because I'm for back to anaka Kojo musika but ebia na nyon na yeah Amwaben his bank was triumphant look at the way I first saw a good the bank what I say but all the financials even American will be na every year banks are coming out with liquidity challenges but the system not designed a system say whenever the signs begin to emit then the state will make sure say entity comes in to absorb you sabaya your friends a bank and the customers and na say for them enkonkoira but ya ha na ya say the timodin na say for go banks I know the we created a mountain of debt in our quest to take away this bank from the system now mine no mo ba boka now we create unemployment bisa say nyansa ben na what that particular intervention so for me acting second for Atta there ono ana me na otu abrabobone a wabọ no eno ana na ne Nkrumah so hye na chi admonishing him not to come and the deserve one na wanya no
osusu say ye de ne beba
oh and na no na me catch you say you see he bears the moral responsibility. You see, people tend to blame Attorney General and people who are trying to bring him back. Yes, they have a responsibility. But the ultimate responsibility resting on Atta. As a former finance minister, he holds that moral obligation to the people of this country to come to this country. So that particular thing rested on him. Failure to do so, and among the state, activate other measures and means available just to ensure him, they get him extradited. But I have told you, some of these processes, don't just happen. You have to go through a certain process that has been, your friends, outlined until you satisfy all the procedure. Won't even contaminate financial play, Musa with the neighbor. And those who were making comparison between Abu Trik and boys, one year. Fraud and then as a form. I keep telling people, so you see, the dynamics are quite different. So over here, American extradition, your friends are treaty with countries, the template now, with the UK, when the UK and Ghana, UK colony somewhere around 1935. Yes, science, sir, and near Manuway, So we have template now, America didn't we are now. Crimes now, yet extraditing the panel. Similarities, they are very difficult. Military and your friend say political offenses. And no, it's different from a more committed fraud. Different from Obi Awako Repi Obi. Different from Obi Awako Kunipa. The procedure for such extradition, are very easy. Okay. But when it comes to political and military offenses, it's different ball game altogether. It's the reason why the state is going through this hurdle to get him extradited. But when America comes here and they want to extradite these young people who have engaged in economic kind of fraud, it is not political, it is not military of related offenses. So it is very easy to get them extradited because all you have to do is to present an indictment to court. Court, say there are reasonable grounds. Because I know the day Ghana security authorities any investigation, America now. So if there are reasonable grounds, and the court has no other option than to grant it per the treaty. Now, when it comes to political extradition and others, it's a different boy. And Debiana Mekaohe, Julian Asana, your friend saying WikiLeaks or CEO, Ekoshe, you say Ecuador embassy or UK for how many years? America tried until recently, I think some negotiation went in, and there's Snowden and other people, and there are thousands of examples you can cite when it comes to some of these things. So you see, because the world is very much concerned about political persecution instead of prosecution. So they want to be very sure. Say Nipana, what time now? And yet because of political differences, and yet because they be a time being our time no, anything over fano na mum. Reasons are very cogent, very reasonable. So you need to provide evidence. Reliable. What the court, And when Attorney General said, Ofori Atta your friend is saying good lawyers in the US, you know. People interpreted it to me say ebia osuro. But you see the fact of the matter is say US Federal Court Deacon of Orata Asema. Ghana will not even be present to be represented. Ghana, yam follow yam kudi asem. There is no way like osuro ntina all can. It was by way of communication because asem na ye kodi no. Ghana buying Kaho. The US versus Kanoforata are more based on the indictment presented from your higher court and Omudi. So Ghana lawyers will not be there, the Attorney General will not be there on the Kanoforata Kudias and Wakasabi Suruntina. It was by way of, you know, or communicating the US Justice Department through the Federal Court, you know, will analyze the Semna Ghana for the Abano. No one who say and send me the nyina so na enye political persecution na mom abrante na diboni wo the krom eninti na ye hwehwe no. Okay. Na Kanoforata in line with the principles of natural justice, the accused must be heard, you know. Wouldn't be nina some and deciding the fate without giving him that chance to be heard. Is the reason why Kanoforata will have a legal representation. So no benyo opportunity akwa representing ho but Ghana na ye no we will not be present to defend ourselves. Is the reason why Oka said the gentleman is determined to prevent his extradition. Edintino, wako high big lawyers, muko defender no, knowing that Ghana will not be present in that particular way. So it wasn't like he was afraid. It was a way of communicating to people, said this is what is happening. Because after all, Ghana will not go to court in the US to fight Kanoforata in the court. It is the US Department of Court. Then subsequent to that, in Nkrumah, the State Department will have to exercise final discretion as to whether and I have told you, sir, you go through this whole process. Kanoforata is somebody who is playing I am sick card. When that particular thing is activated, it pushes you to another realm of human rights. It's a very complicated situation. Okay. So it's not like he's the first person to be blamed before any other person. Yes, I know the special prosecutor is not doing anything. His office, for me, I have advocated several occasions. It's not useful. It's useless. Has to be. But before you blame any of these agencies, you first look at Kanoforata. As an agent or as somebody who was given a duty to run the finance ministry of this particular country after engaging in a whole lot of reckless, incompetent decisions. I know the day, a man, this particular economy, a fall here to the ground, you know. He owns that particular, and aside that, there were a lot of criminal activities that the guy perpetrated.
Criminal activities?
Oh, yes.
Like
the cathedral.
Okay.
President Akufo-Addo, your friend say, I didn't sakobo mine sikama, I say I'm fan cathedral without parliamentary approval. Kanoforata on record, echoed the pen hand into the same consolidated fund, took money for the cathedral project. It was illegal because as a finance minister, you have no right to dip your hand into the consolidated fund without authorization.
And do you think it's without authorization, who can say we na omampeni and now the danko akufado na wonim dada na wonim hoshe?
Oh, na say a state na no more run Banana Republic autopilot emra nya adwuma. So obi aye de ope. So the president dipped his hand in the office so dipping a hand in using state money to do these things. Yantono mukobu judges dying to go yen as a forum. They were just doing things at the behest of their personal twisted emotions in as a forum. Ebanitima no yeah without recourse to law, authorization, parliament. They didn't even care about the emotions and the genuine sentiments that were being expressed by Ghanaians. Economy name why then at the time we needed certain intervention. Bet me put bread and butter on the table for the average Ghanaian. But the government didn't care. They were concerned about sorry we are running governance. A personal level business. What I say? We don't run government at our personal level, when you go on your knees.
Who told you that was the reason why you had person?
How can I say, Yankopon, the Aboni Bachena, were vetted civil war? The president said that. And some way you know, Krasem. Because Cote d'Ivoire, the president for Fort Boyen, at the Omaisika, the largest basilica of Cote d'Ivoire. 20 years and Tokwasi Hono, I saw an energy or more. What is our sort of GOB? And civil war, Sudan, and as a phone. These are most of the countries, and aside being Muslims, are highly populated Christian countries. But a Jew woman, one young near my energy woman. Nyankopon will not save you. God is a very busy person.
Principled God.
He doesn't have time for this nonsense. And the one woman now could this answer who we think and say, Nyankopon will come to your aid. No. Nyankopon need a money power in Nyansa. He has time for the sensible. That is why Omaya, Margins, or Mayo Munia, you know, they are flourishing and they are advancing. Some don't even believe in God. If you go to Japan, one of the largest atheist community in the world, they believe in they don't believe in God,
but they believe in nature.
Yes, and Okwa Omaya, Omo respecting Nipa. Omo mokrono, Udo Ofong to baby Abakwaba Tua. Those countries no Muslim.
Asia.
Yes, Asia. Yeah, and they respect people. South Korea, even China, within the country, how they treat each other, and then Japan. Said these people have a great deal of respect for human beings. Yana etia debiana nyamibo no. Bonene niamanye ne di okroma sei. The nyamia kata ni pani na yedi sabi ensem Keno for us ko parliamentar. Bible verses no apam quote as if say your friend say bishop of pope of ase. But ensem hunu na ekoso nyina no odi. So I think say we need to get serious in this country. Now you making sure say we do the right thing. Keno for reata edin sabo man sikam. And we want justice for the people of this country. And I keep telling people, say, after 4 years of this John Mahama administration, people are going to ask, that is a simple question. There is no it's as simple as that. That is the only explanation. So Ghanaians are watching. I think the security, the agencies that are charged with the prosecutorial powers in this particular country, they will have to do everything possible to ensure the other related cases of corruption, you deal with it swiftly just to ensure we move to the next chapter. Once again, confidence will return. But when all these jokers are masquerading around, trying to twist the narrative to make it look like they are being witch hunted. Now, it's very shameful and very embarrassing when we know the scars of their crimes are quite glaring. Utuwania, Bonnie and Nkrumah yadi, and now when Nkrumah wonam swat, DDP or Modabai, any pom fast Munyo Nkrumah. And then people are masquerading running Kojo Oppong Nkrumah Nam TV, so shamefully, just trying to inherit this, your friend saying, economic turnaround the Now, what about the Akumia for 8 good years? If you couldn't implement policies and programs, I bet you within the 8 years, what so ababa kokora na the very moment I will hesitate power 6 months after the dividend that is coming you say we a serious person will make it that
I don't know sir onwane ne one way kind of kofa sa gold board in some semi they buy say 214 million Ghana cedis gold board Aboka and it's not in the books of gold board, it's in the books of the same BOG and then Nasifo. I don't know, but it's a Momoya Mayo for Momoya Amanyosem. Gold board, for instance, and Pese a kind of Socacrane, but TC, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, in 1 year. Gold board is a
gold board issue, I think, you see, the government has been running for almost 1 year, and goodwill is still there. And so far, the expectations of Ghanaians, like economic instability and facing things are really stabilizing. And in terms of corruption and so forth, there is not much to say. So when this gold board thing came, people saw an opportunity. So, okay, then let us capitalize on this particular thing and drum home a certain sentiment, say, Abayano is corrupt, and I say, Yabo Mayaka. When in reality, if you look at the fact available now, that is not the case. Because there is nowhere IMF, as stated, say, gold board, a cotton gold aboka. And so, we see Kojo Oppong Nkrumah press conference now, he was communicating to the people, say, gold board, a cotton gold aboka. Now, no, beside questions, why in a ton gold boka? That is a lie. And you see, and that is intellectual dishonesty on his part. Because 2022, when Dr. Baumia came out with this, your friend is saying, gold for oil. But my main why that particular policy came. You see, the catcher say, Kenoforata by a finance, the same Kenoforata is so. Kenoforata by a finance minister. Then he started borrowing foolishly around. We said it. Because in a year, he will go for 2.5 billion, 3 billion Euro bond. Because we had access. The guy was just abusing Ghana's access to the international credit space.
Okay.
And he was foolishly floating. Or borrow Sika. Sika no ba Nkrumah no. We could not tell say when he had the year.
Foolish la. Is it not too hard?
No. It's I don't cry to four. Because look at how this particular the people suffered in this particular country, and look at the consequences. No. It's just
to put euphemism in.
No. It's a description of how the situation was. It was a very desperate situation. There is no better way to describe the situation than the way
the foolish.
No. That is how he borrowed. Is the reason why the consequences were so the way we saw it. It was like that because untimi sorry makoba bosia oba no ba kenke party sika na ehwa yehu na wasia kobo bi no ato agum. The economy now was so good sika ba begum no. Economy is sinking to a point that after borrowing you go and the international creditor will tell you so you are lying. The numbers you are putting to us, no, you are cooking the numbers, and for that matter, you retail junk and you're foolish borrowing there. So that is how to justify it. So the thing is, boss abusiani in a way, you know, you call credit space in 2022. Say you call bobusia, and I'm here books. No. You guys, more credit worthy because economy no any good standing. Say busia na mo bono, muntimintu ya. So they denied us that particular money that particular year. Then Nkrumah say because we had no other option. Because now the only source and sika that through that borrowing and borrow no.
Okay.
So there was no money coming. So Abani decided say mean to me nko abonten ko bobo there. Then what should I do? They maintain me home to the domestic space. Na Ghana for now ufa usika we investment or banks and then as for no na. That is why the DDEP came in. And the amount for Mudo Musika commercial bank, or Mudo Musika come away, investment in Yinano, that government a buru Sasikan in Yana, and a time Nana and Dasuse, when Sabakan Sikano, or renew Yaduko anymore, and Namsuma Nipa bring your moo, Nkrumah, and then I'm a foreign for a demonstration for the first time in this country. So Sikano Boro Nkrumah, a cities. What are some American? A cities. You need $. Then what do you do? Dollar the only source. Cocoa board na never make sikano. Cocoa board no yada kobo siambo cut to the sense that aban no be free so na yada 400,000 tons of cocoa. Yada ka yadi hu sika. So there was no way we were going to get foreign exchange. Then aban say okay, ye here oil, as if If that is the case there, then yan sha say the yan accumulative gold. Our Bank of Ghana reserve. Say be ya ye betumi ya reserve no, ye benya bibi wo ho. Na I'm saying you need $. You de kwakoto gold nti no. You de gold no. Be kwa abonten kwa kwaje oil, which was a lie. Because what they were doing is omo the gold no kwa abonten, omo koton na omo discount to oil, no omo de aba. I know the day when the proper auditing were done. The first year no started that particular project 2023 no. Omo boka 2.15 billion Ghana cedis.
2.15
billion Ghana cedis. Yes. Then the following year, 2024, Omobo cap 4.8 billion. Oh, she man will be some. Sako job on Nkrumah will be a cotton gold a boka. Ye na Omode yasa your friend saying G4O, G4 your friend is saying raise R no. Omobo na me that 2 years in 2023, 2024, Omobo cap almost 7 billion Ghana cedis. That was the whole package. And this are buying by.
Was it lack of proper management and assessing?
I said they are not even ready to tell people what happened. And I mobile. And you see, one significant thing I say, I say, projects in our way, you know, what you mean? Projects in our way, you know. Now a policy option, yes, sir. Makato said, now foreign exchange. So we needed money to come into the system. Side initiative, no, they could not bring anything to this particular country to show up the city. It's the reason why city consistently falling. City falling to the stance that at the end of the year it lost value by almost 27%. So it means that policy drive more the bar say you go for oil, you show up the city that particular thing did not succeed. The first year, the second year, because these 2 years na dollar ni city city falling. A fall in 2023, a fall in 2024, and the records are there to show. Yeah. So it is quite funny for Kojo Nkrumah to be running around, throwing his weight around there. They did this, they started. The project they undertook, did not bring any benefit aside say airborne or minor cost 7 billion Ghana cedis within the 2 years. And then aside that, the policy objective just to ensure say you foreign exchange, you know, sika no ba Nkrumah say. Ye ne ba ye ho so no na gold kakra na ye wo no. Na according to your friend saying Al Jazeera investigation on moye no kwabrane any aban kabom SSI ye gold kwabonten koton. They keep the money in an offshore account. That is what they were doing. Is the reason why they could not get money foreign way about Nkrumah ebetimi stabilize the city. So by the time aban exit power no now dollar no nam almost 17 16 and a drop about 15 and sana your friend is saying aban no free so the intervention they brought, you know, did not bring any value to the people of this country. Then John Mahama came up with the gold board concept. The gold board concept, and they say, gold that you produce from your friends saying small scale way over the years, you know. Per Alistair Matthias and Akufo-Addo example, no say a man for Riakoton, Sikano Kwa and Map, and there are other agencies that were responsible for exporting gold. Sikano Nippon cotton, the gold no the copper, or the Sikano Nkrumah. And let us come out with a regulation just like the cocoa board. Cocoa board is the only agency that can sell cocoa in this country. We are individual with to for cocoa and go ship cotton. It is only cocoa board. And the gold no so no yanya sa. Now you're making sure say your cotton the money will come back to the central bank. So that was the idea. So it was nothing and this project no more the buy say your cotton gold and as you keep it in a reserve no. Okay. That was a different thing. So this whole thing no say you create a central body. All the gold are free the small scale sector no. And they are even buying from the larger scale about 9 of the your friends saying large scale mining companies, you know, they buy about 25% of the gold that they produce. Okay. So, actually, it's a large scale business. All the golds now will be aggregated and come to a central pool, which is gold board. And then that gold, no, aside Bank of Ghana, and I'm saying no money, the previous PMMC what initiative been to know those that are supposed to go to the reserve will go, and then the chunk of the gold that has been accumulated will go to the international market. To be sold. And then the profit or your friends say the returns will come back to this country in the form of what? Dollars. That is why Sami Jamfi is telling you say within this last 8 months, he has brought back to this country $10 billion. Okay. In the history of this country, I don't remember the last time an agency, an entity in such a short period. It's nearby $10 billion. And when you have forests in excess in that particular regard, I know the day it means we'll reserve whatever you need per the IMF initiative now. The amount of your friends say we reserve, we have exceeded that. Then central bank has a lot of the cash. What do? Then you need to give some to the your friends say commercial banks, because a $100 you go to the commercial bank. So the commercial banks need dollar and the dollar boy the amount for kwabuchi hono. Okay. So they have it in excess. So what they were doing is they were rather selling the dollar. Into a moment say buying this cash we no carbon and carbon. Bank of Ghana and charity organization or dollar or ton. Okay. So they sell the dollar in excess to the commercial banks, and they take out the cedi or any other valuable equivalent. Bank of Ghana bet me a keepo. Sabaya almost benya access. And when the commercial banks get access to dollars, then it stabilizes the currency. Okay. Because when you go to bank na win your beer, and a man boy do and this amount of commercial banks and it will be stable. It's the reason why you see this particular stability. And this stability, abano abwayan ama a car yede wabonting a swati almost 100 billion Ghana cedis because the car, external component of our debt because see it in dollars. It is a dollar not yaba for ma. See the obesa and sana what they exchange in terms of 15 cedis. And until your debt to your GDP, I drop it to 45%. Historical because we anticipated you may achieve that in somewhere 2035, 2030. But here we are within a short period that has been achieved. So I just said the gold board intervention, even though make the activities of PMMC, but it's a new design, a new arrangement with a new objective altogether. It is not about hoarding gold for reserve or hoarding gold to go and buy gold, but a center of a central pooler, making sure there is an inflow of forex into this country. Okay. And that is the clear objective, and that has been achieved. It's the reason why Fitch, one of the credible rating agencies, projected, Ghana will end this year. You see the number saying, also saying 15.5%, 15.5. Yeah, and they're saying 10.45. That particular projection has been thrown off bar, because there is an inflow of cash into this country because of the intervention that has been set in motion.
So, if I understand you perfectly, the moment Gold Board ceases to operate,
yes,
we may even go back.
So once we give that particular mandate to amount for some cotton gold, then amount for gold, no sikano Nkrumah. Because the private person cotton the gold or the Scalaba Ghana, they've created offshore accounts somewhere, and some of the people who buy gold, and your musika, entities and individuals living outside, and no borrow amount for, they buy, so the money goes directly to them. So you want resources, but you are not getting anything out of it, you understand? So the gold board intervention is to be there as a central pool, about aggregating all the gold, sell it, and the money comes back to this particular country. And in economy, when money is returned, the forest is returning, and what to stabilize the economy, because you see, the dollar is a running currency. As long as you don't have it, a creative problem, a shortage will create a problem for you, and you need to intervene. But as long as we have access to forest, the entire call IMF say, so at the time I made describe the situation in China, there was nowhere you been forest will come because international market, you're blacklisted. Wouldn't mean come baby we na bought a bro from ECOWAS. Actually, how dead the situation is. Then we had no other option than to go to IMF for how much? $3 billion. $3 billion, hoping say it will stabilize the economy. And on time for boom. Or the $375 million, not the amount. Now Ghana kakraka that with $275 million in terms of the bad end it couldn't stabilize the economy. So within this 8 years, within this 8 months to 9 months, if a certain $10 billion has been injected into this particular economy, I think that is something that has to be celebrated, and it's the reason why the economy has become stable. And then with the IMF issue now, IMF and Jumane said. You know more arrangements. This how do you call it? IMF deal na make no. They have a benchmark. The amount. Say the one mawa. They need to make sure say you take all the benchmark no more the amount because IMF person would seek amount. Nobody will know this kind of thing. So this kind of mawa not the book at home or take it. So what we know or review sikano acquire the wire. And the overview of the economy. Then they came up with certain remarks. So we have gold board. The Bank of Ghana interventions now all year selling gold and the way now. Fees are omutiama off takers and then I say for no. Okay, can you know I created a debt of $214 million. And I have told you, sir, if you look at the trajectory, because the policy design wasn't meant for profit. It was meant to stabilize the economy by making sure that you talk gold at whatever price, and that is why the spot price came in. Say you talk, say you bet me a BT competition because at the time, now there wasn't anything like your friend said that monopoly, an agency never thought. So you have to go there and compete. So you need to pay a proper price and that's for them. So these things were in place just to ensure that we have access to the gold. So if you look at the trajectory, because it wasn't a profit-oriented kind of initiative in Tino, the government was ready to get the gold, make sure say acquire forest so it wasn't profit. But the other side of your gold board operations, and rather you look at the larger economic benefit of it. Sad evidence in Eba. So gold board was never mentioned in the equation, but rather and I'm saying our business on the Bank of Ghana definitely a reference will be made to gold board. But and yet the gold board finances or the you have IMF or the gold board, you have the finances. Need business dealings everything with the Bank of Ghana, and it ends there. But because of cheap politics, people quickly to snoop in some fee because none are thing. And some people will say, "Oh, I'm people opposition." The other year, and I'm saying, "What saying?" He was speaking to fact, and if he says something, gold board na ya the bonia. You can bring it up for us to debate, but you can't just manufacture lies and insert on him say because or ye went yam so ye can be a good so yam fan to chiro my baby. So Kojo Oppong Nkrumah press conference he lied to the people of this country. Is the reason why from day one. So one monitor now. He doesn't do debate. Oh.
Yeah.
He's avoiding everything. He's avoiding everything. He doesn't want to debate anybody. And all he does is, Okwatana on the TV host and a debate. Na on the radio station host on one kasa na church he does because he knows he's carrying a pack of lights or the nam, and when he's subjected to street proof he cannot honorable Rekopoku good animals for one of the platforms. We are not done. You see, me say you have no credibility because the track record at Edaho for the past 8 years I demonstrated quite clearly said the economy was handed to you. You could not come out with any pragmatic measures. It's stabilizing the economy. John Mahama by within 1 year. Some of the signs are quite obvious. And it is not because of anything. It is because of some of these bold initiatives that have been set in motion.
Okay. John Mahama by 1 year, and you might be brain, I done it, and everybody did come. Was IMF, young IMF, be crying IMF, BM. That sounds good. It's a good news. But I was saying, ma, dane me hombra, me ba, mene Ivan. Innocent, Che, and Etwaso, and Anope. And the Ivan, my young share Mohammed's 1 year. Yeah, 1 year. Yeah, in office.
I think that be a mechanic. We in the Padasani. Na opese uhuse watumpon wa braboma. You need to look back. Now we share baby and run wujina. And this all had distance between and rubber be a wujina. Now we had distance maybe a wujina and na. That is the within that line, and I'll bet me a track is a what to pong and I won't to pong. Or you cannot just stand on a neck because my improve. And what is the yardstick? I would assess it. So always and always, you look at where you were and you look at where you are. The difference now will tell you whether it's our progress and our progress here. And I keep telling people, say, not yenina and Nkrumah Nkrumah saying. The only reason I cool and see what Ghana and say. Ghana for we seem sabi ye near be kakra ayete near mase we had hopes say elections eba and yen hold on na yen koto aba na yen use the democratic tool yen fun to aban no rather than say be cool because so we have all the indicators, the statistics and the economic numbers are influence among for more cool around the world at the time in the sub-regional. Na Ghana ye tepe ahead of all of them. Because the situation here was quite worse. Na Ekoso Nkrumah. But Ghana forced so man, and these things were quite clear because in the first Makatro said we were locked out of the commercial space. Corruption was so pervasive and so
self. We recommit ourselves to governance anchored in integrity, competence, and compassion. We recommit ourselves to listening, especially to the voices of our vulnerable, our youth, and those who feel excluded.
And then within the media space, so the situation in this country is more like a jungle, like a banana republic, a certain despotic leader bit one here now one more part was in the media men who were chased out, media men who were arrested on countless occasions, those who were assaulted, those who were hounded, intimidated, whole lot of stuff. So that was the state of play. So John Mahama saw the message of hope and revival to the people of this country. Say, I've been there before as president. Give me that particular chance. When I come, I will turn the tables around. That promise, fell on the right side of Ghanaians. They believed and gave him an overwhelming power and authority. So if this thing has been given to you, you cannot. Your friend say, "Won't mean good dependent." You have no other option than to deliver on the mandate. And from day one up to now, I think he's lived up to expectation within my expectation. Because first of all, we were talking about the large size of government, which Akufo-Addo justifies. So, Ajumano Dawson, and you making sure say Nipa Dawson. He ended up being the most useless government in the history of this country, and the record are quite clear. Oba, he told the people, say, "I'll cut down the size of government," and truly he did it. By cutting down the size of government to a number, Ghana can appreciate, say, we can use, your friend said, the small numbers to do efficient job. Because in modern governance, it is not about the large scale number.
Ministers, yes, 60 or 66.
Yeah, the numbers, I think that there's still one that is still needed. What I said. So, efficiency is the key to here in this particular way. He lived that particular promise by making sure cutting down the size of government. And then, when it comes to judicious use of state fund. He has been very critical about that, making sure say my sika will not go to foolish enterprises like the cathedral and American one, but rather monies will be given to areas the critical infrastructure revival of this particular country is the reason why what coming up with the initiative say Accra to Kumasi is the busiest road on my way. I connected the other side, so we cannot be using this road that the BID warning us forever. So the express road concept comes in, and that particular thing is ongoing operations and everything regarding it. So don't you think it's going to open up this particular country? And again, let's come to the economic space. The challenge for every Ghanaian, mema ebia ba ho na makwa akwaje pensioners omudo musika ya investments o akwaje abanse mafa John Mahama by the first thing he did he said EDEP owners he paid them the city because you see and these things don't just happen oba yana the your friends a Public Financial Management Act no omo amende ye and na okreti cedi denominated your friends a sinking fund and okreti dollar denominated sinking fund making sure say dollar you keep dollar here, we keep cedi here because Eurobond we own the money in dollars and then the DEP is in cedis. That is why Emre so ya this year Eurobond sikana kenoforata tutuko animu na yentuano Emre na nuru nano ana ya finance minister kukutu ya sikano and they omoa domestic bond holders no on 2 occasions they've been paid 19 billion Ghana cedis. And then when it comes to Eurobond, so far we've paid about $1.4 billion dollars to amount for. As sure as a default, now you default on our debt, you know. Government is not defaulting this time around. He's rather paying debt you only to amount for. And that once again is bringing confidence back to investors. Say, "Omayno, and your money there come be. Now you two about for mokopa amount for Chelsea or fire can't no. Now, government is being responsible and paying our debt because a certain deliberate initiative now has been activated and the government is being pragmatic, making sure we settle our debt. And the credible rating agencies now more rating Ghana junk, you know, all of them have once again come back to rewrite their books about Ghana, making Ghana credit worthy. And if you look at the economic outlook, that is the reason why the president can confidently tell you, say, barring all other way be a bebano, Ghana will not return to IMF because we don't need IMF to give us 3 billion when on our own we can generate 10 billion within 10 months. It doesn't make sense. So it's about being pragmatic, and that is what John Mahama has put in place. So this initiative, because of that, you know, inflation, we projected that by the end of the year it was going to end somewhere around 8. Yankasa your projection, you defy that particular projection, you know, and then we have performed that particular projection to almost 6 to 5, and you read this particular year. Ghana City, no, before John Mahama Airbano, Bloomberg rated the currency to be one of the most useless currencies in the world because among 144 countries, the only country Ghana, yes, city no, the Russian ruble, even the Kwacha Kurana, one of the most useless currencies around the world, the Zambian Kwacha. Yes, ABT Ghana. But the same Bloomberg came back in the middle of this year and said, Ghana city is the best performing currency in the whole of the world. Per the ratings, and that didn't just end there. Are you aware, since 1994, since a Bloomberg shares analyze currencies, other Ghana can't this year, the year Ghana, city, I record an appreciable gain of 41%. It been seen that in the history of this particular country. Correct. And you think it's by accident. So if somebody sees someone and tells you, John Mahama here, then I don't know the kind of numbers, the figures, and whatever that he's reading from. Petro and I'm for Nkrumah say, because of the same currency, now you're saying, now we talk Petro saying almost 22 to 20 to almost way. And at the pump, it's either 10 cedis or 11 cedis. And it's been hovering around that particular figure. CD, dollar, and I'm 10.45, 10.55 this year. So these are the key indicators that my economy is stable. And it's the reason why investors' confidence have returned and people are saying, say, Ghana economy is rebounding. It is not rebounding because of certain initiatives we did go in the past. It is rebounding because of pragmatic economic measures that has been adopted by the government of the day.
But people is saying, and
I make us say it's funny and it's a joke. Say, Ubatena kumya so 8 years. Na wode and she be go akwemu. Na wode adimguasia be free aban mu akofie. 8 years no, nema na wode go akwan e bia no e wakema wo. And you must be a magician. 8 years, all the measures go akwemu. None work to your favor. By the very moment you exited power, then 2 months after, and at 8 years, your friend is saying intervention, I feel a swung about my buying beer. Then it means that one can the government was a useless government. Don't lie. This is a government this is a party a lose credibility. And they have nothing to tell the people of this country. So they need to struggle to inherit the credit. Sebeya Manfo will cut them some slack because MPP is in the phase of trying to rebuild credibility for itself. And where are they going to draw the inspiration from? They need to fight for glory in instances like this. In one breath, they are telling you, says, in one breath, the Athens of our business has turned the economy around. The same person is taking credit. Now, because Kojo Nkrumah say, Samidam behind the tongue go to Boka. But the dividends are turning the economy now around in India. What's a initiative? You have credit amount. Are you a serious person? So I'm saying they are just advertising nothing but you saw intellectual dishonesty. And I'm sure no serious-minded person will take them serious. It's the reason why they are unable to sit on TV to engage any people in debate. Rather than on one casa crafty the figment of his own imagination, good papers are not the name. Then they are debating TV host. What did you get? Yana dying to Quanafe. Nano may obi send a video on the obi. Or challenging no crowd no aqua way. Now, even if you cannot survive the scrutiny of a TV host, how much more may I now wait to me a debate on this issue? So I think that we should disregard them.
The next year, Mohammed's 2 years. Where do you see Ghana?
I just hope, sir, you see, the beginning has been very good. But to me, and I say, to me, and get so comfortable. I think that this should be a pretest. I beg so for your friends a massive economic takeoff. Our culture said this whole John Mahama 4 years is to build a solid foundation for the new Ghana that is to take off. Because there was a mess. He's in to build the foundation. I remember the new Ghana no, I take it off. Now, fortunately for us, the grounds has been stabilized. Then we are looking at what we need to build on. And I think that is where the real job ever started. Job no started yo. This are free show comedies. You need to lay the foundation. I find there's a we sit down. Oh yes.
We are resetting, rebuild, say renewing.
Oh no, we say the economy was shattered. The economy was broken. Hope was shattered. There was no confidence. Nothing. Ghana was in a state of desolation. Nothing was working. And to take it over, I said, "Wakofa bare land." So what do you do? Would be so. And son, I'll buy the way. What checking the parameters? And son, I'll be to foundation. What CBS so.
Okay.
So that is what has been done. Now the level has been very where you need to build on, and building on. The most critical component will have to be job opportunities for young people.
Okay.
Industries. Then as a forum. Sebeya the gains now because we cannot just rely on gold export for your fancy currency stability.
Okay.
That is why you need to create alternative by making sure say you build industries and create other means. Sikana yeswa the carbon tin koton niama ba no so beti amayen na ya make sure say you create nyuma okroma amanfo benye bia e bedu a point a yenso no ye betimi atam niama carbon tin koton anya dollars dia ba kroma say what asem na make. That is the next phase. That transformation and all no anything I'll say or connected the countries around because the hinterlands and the corridors you need to create that particular thing. Sabaya movement of goods and services and so easy.
Okay.
What me yes ana opinion manano a bit me ama say usi factory. That's how person unya raw material for whatever to feed it. It will be very easy to transfer goods from BA to wherever you want to.
Okay.
So you need to do all these things. We are now setting up the factories in motion. he has started one BIM Quanta, I had a poultry waiting as a phone. Just imagine that at the way boomia job a bit creative. And your friend said the kind of purpose and the benefit to serve the people of this country.
Okay.
So I think that it's geared toward job creation instead of no account for the people of this country. And Ghana is no longer returning to IMF or returning to the international space with a cap in hand, begging people for clemency, those kind of. No, we need to take charge of our own destiny, making sure that the resources we have in this country, you turn it to the benefit of the people of this country by making sure that kwabraninko wiyesikano na onfa ko gu ne personal account and na onko naive enko ludu with certain foreign interest.
Okay.
Na yen so amfa ko gu foreign account na omunko ye second for eta we ye wadwana kwatena ba bia ono na soma dwunin na mom the money will benefit the people of this country. That is all governance is about. It's about solving the most pressing needs of the people, the vulnerable ones. Sabeya obia will see hope and have confidence or mine or also a benefit to them. That is the only way to tap into the immense creative potential of young people and everybody to turn the economy around.
Future lawyer Ivan Kyei innocent. Mami na was in nano pay. What will be a new man is actually Mohammed's 1 year in office.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.